Welcome to the Finance and Accounting presentation. My name is Adam Mostogel and I'm going to run you through some basic understanding of financial accounting so you can prepare your own tables, and then also some of the templates that you need to work through. Now, we are very lucky at Illuminate Education to be partnered with Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand, and they are really focused on helping more people see how they can be a difference maker through accounting. And so I think it's really important that we check out this video first.
What difference will you make? Will you contribute to progress and opportunity? Build economies? Navigate complex markets? Help forests grow and oceans to thrive by influencing the right business decisions for our planet? Will you have the unique perspective needed to help communities flourish and pave the way for a more sustainable future? It's the difference makers who will shape, build, and conquer the world to create prosperity for us all. Chartered accountants thrive in a fast-changing world with the skill set required to make a difference to the big challenges of our time.
So as you can see from that clip, accountants do far more than just simply create financial reports. Yes, they do provide the information that's relevant to the needs of the financial reports, but it's to make decisions. They collect information around the basic blocks of accounting, which I'm about to introduce, but ultimately accountants actually are the problem solvers in a business. If you want to do something like give someone a pay rise, your accountant's going to make sure that you've got enough money in the bank. If you want to buy a more sustainable product to support better environmental outcomes, it's going to be a financial impact. An accountant is going to help you make that decision. So ultimately, any decision to do with money, you are going to be better placed by talking to an accountant. And if you want to have real influence in the business world, then being a CA is a fantastic way to do it. Because you will then use what we call those building blocks of accounting. And it's starting to look at how much we earn, how much we spend, how much we own, and how much we owe. We're going to talk a lot more about the business terms that are on the right-hand side though. So how much we earn, how much income is coming in, how much revenue are we getting from our customers, how much money is coming into our business, and then how much do we spend, and we call these our expenses, the money that's going out. But then own and we owe, so assets. Do we actually own something that's got value? Cars, houses, furniture, they are all considered assets that if we sold them, they're worth something. And then liabilities. So these are things that we actually owe people money back to. So if we have a bank loan or a mortgage, we actually have a liability. And if we, for example, had to shut down our business and we sold all of our assets, we obviously want to make sure we pay our liabilities back, and hopefully your business has a little bit of money left over to actually show that your business was worth something. So that's the basic building blocks of accounting. In terms of the challenge, there's a couple of things that you're going to create. The first thing is the establishment costs. You're basically going to provide a budget of everything you need to spend money on to get your idea started. You've got your item, how much it costs is a unit price, how many of them do you need is the quantity, and then you obviously multiply those together to get the total cost. And really think through everything you need to open the doors and see your first customer. What equipment do you need to buy? Do you need to have staff trained? Do you need to buy stationery? Do you need to do some registration costs? Think through everything you need to spend money on, and then add it all up. That is your total establishment cost. And ultimately, if you want to start this business, you need that much investment to get your idea started. It's a pretty straightforward table, but as you go through it, the next step once you've completed it is to actually think through, do we need all these things? Do we actually need to buy all these things up front? Because that might help you think, wait a minute, how do we reduce the amount of money we're asking for and make our idea more feasible? Then we move on to the profit and loss statement. It is a forecast because you are looking ahead over the next 12 months, and each column is considered to be a month. Now, as we go through the rows across the page, you will notice that it's color-coded. This is something that we've done to help make it really clear. The green is your income. So this is your money that's coming in. What sort of category lines do you have for making revenue? And sometimes it's really easy to break it down into different product lines that might sell better at different times. For example, I might run an ice cream store that, you know what, during winter, not many people want ice cream. So I might turn it into having some soups available. And obviously there's two different products lines. They're going to sell at different times. I want to make sure it's really clear on my financials when that happens. But also I know I might sell more ice creams during January, and because it's school holidays, there's lots of kids out. And so I should be able to see that my sales have increased in that month and potentially might track back. So you should actually not just have a flat fee across everyone, but really think through, will we have more customers or less customers? Will we charge them more? How's that going to work? You need to forecast that. The next section is your costs of goods sold. So then if I need to sell items, what do I need to buy to make those sales? So for example, I'm going to run my soup and my ice cream shop. Well, if I'm going to sell ice cream, I'm going to need to buy ice cream and cones and cups and spoons. Every time I sell ice cream, I need to buy more. So if I have lots and lots of sales, I need to buy lots more of those items. Soup, veggies, meat, whatever else. The more I sell, the more I need to buy. They're considered costs of goods sold because they will shift with the items that I have to sell. I obviously need to buy more to sell more. And then we get into our operating expenses, which is what we call our fixed costs, because obviously our costs of goods sold are variable based on our sales, but operating expenses, sometimes these don't change. I'm always going to pay the same amount of rent every single month, no matter if I have a customer or not. I'm going to have to pay staff. That might shift slightly during busier seasons, but otherwise, I'm always going to need staff to open the doors. I'm always going to have to pay for my phone line. Now, your list of operating expenses that are there, there's a lot there because this is a sort of a template that helps you think through what you need to do. You may not need all of them, but I encourage you to think through what's there. The last part is the cost benefit analysis. Now, yes, there is a table in the template that's on the team resource guide. You do not need to complete that unless you wish to. What we actually just want you to do is do, the calculation, but I want you to do it in written form. What are the costs to start the idea? What do you need to spend money on to get it going? And then what are the benefits that solution will create? Effectively, you're saying, we're going to have to spend this much money to start this, but it will be worth it in the end because of this. And you need to really clearly talk through, yes, it'll cost this, but this is the benefit. Think of the wider community, think of the lives of your customer. Are you creating time saving, health saving, whatever that is? Really clearly show that the investment is worth it. Now, you are going to have to work out some of your costs and you are going to have to do some research about it. You're obviously going to maybe call some people. If you do, let them know you're doing an education program. Some things take a while to get quotes back and you're obviously looking for some initial costs over the phone. Some ballpark figures is going to help you out. If you know someone who runs a business, ask them. In both cases though, make sure you let them know you're doing this as an education program and you only have a couple of days to do this so that they know they have to get back to you quickly, but they also know that you're not a prospective customer. Sometimes they'll take your details and give you a call back, great, but they might call you back again in a couple of weeks' time to say, hey, wait a minute, do you want to do business if you haven't told them that? There are lots of things you can also search online and get lots of quotes online. And as we've mentioned many times before, take notes. Make sure you do note down what you are finding because you may need to go back to that if you make some changes and understand what you've got there. I wanted to give you a bit of a hint with some of your operational expenses where you can start looking or find websites that show or share their prices. Bank fees, you're a student, so you probably don't pay fees. So you're going to have a look at what the business bank fees are. They might charge you for the bank itself. They might charge you for credit card payments, all sorts of stuff. Look into that. Insurance. Some companies online have quote calculators. Have a look. Some of them are really extensive to fill in and some of them are pretty straightforward. Have a look for a pretty straightforward one. Not everyone has an online quote calculator, but there are some that do. If you do need a loan, you've got to think about what security you put up so that you can actually make sure that if you don't pay your loans, the banks have something that's worth something. But on the other side of it, make sure you look online at a business loan calculator to calculate your repayments. And think about over how long you are going to make those repayments. Don't just sort of go for a straight sort of 6 to 12 months because your business might take some more time to get up and running. You might have to start looking at a longer term loan. It's something you need to think of. If you need to rent a space, maybe have a look at commercial property sites, or maybe if you just need an office space, there might be a convenient co-working space or something you can look at. Come back to superannuation, phone plans, internet plans, you can easily find those online. Wages and salaries. You will find this is one of the largest parts of your expenses. Have a look at fairwork.gov.au. There's a calculator on there that can help you find what the minimum legal pay rates are. By being the minimum, does that mean that you want to pay them the absolute lowest that you need to pay them? If you want to value them, you might pay them a little bit more. The other reason why we share this with you is that it's really important for you to know the support that is out there when you are employed. fairwork.gov.au is where you can find that. Then come back to superannuation. The government won't have enough money to pay for everybody's retirement, and so employers have to pay an extra amount, which is called superannuation, that goes towards their retirement. It is a percentage of wages and salaries. I am not going to give it to you. You need to look into it. But it is an additional cost to a business that they need to consider, and your wages should consider that. As I bring this to a close, teams, you can get help from a CA with what we are doing. So Illuminate has partnered with Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand to create some financial resources that are available on the Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand website. There is a link from the team resource guide where it says helpful resources. You can click that link, head on over to the CA page and actually have a look at some great video content, but then also some text outlines. The video content is designed in a way that you could watch it in one screen and actually do your tables in the next to break down some of the things you need to think through, and you can sort of start and stop it as you go through that process. It's not just here's the information like this presentation. It's actually far more workshop based, and I'm sure you will find it incredibly useful. Otherwise, good luck, teams.